Hey guys, welcome to the channel. It's Erad, and today we are going to react to one of my good old buddies from Star Citizen. I believe, at least I like him. I like what he does, and he's also helping me for Star Citizen Wars as well, so that's awesome. This is Ray's Guide, and he's got a really good topic here, talking about Star Citizen 1.0, which, yes, we are talking about 1.0, CIG are talking about it too, but how many star systems is enough for the minimum viable product? Let's see what Ray's Guide has got to say.
Bachelor program in computer game development. More on that later. Recently, Chris Roberts and Richard Trier, in a letter from the chairman, described how they were working on a roadmap of the features that will and won't be included in Star Citizen 1.0 commercial release.
Yes, I forgot what would not be in 1.0, but yeah, I think that personally I would be happy with 5 stars. 5 stars, I think it's feasible. Stanton, Pyro, Nyx, Terra, and the last one being Odin. Now, instead of Terra, it could be another one. It could be, for example, one of those other smaller star systems around those areas. I think there's the one where Drake Interplanetary is located, but I think Terra is a must. But let's see what
now, one of the features that
Ray's
everybody is likely presuming to be included in the won't be included is the long-standing stretch goal of having 100 star systems, which right now exists only that in lore and the web-based star map have 100 systems. But apparently the only person taking that 100-star system promise seriously was Todd Howard, who apparently felt that he needed to have 100 stars.
Oh my gosh, what a cheap shot to Starfield.
Systems in Starfield, which immediately had people worried that it would be, as they termed it, a mile wide and an inch deep. So then Starfield came out with it, and it was indeed judged to be a mile wide and an inch deep. So right now, pretty much everybody who actually plays the...
Which is right, and that's something that we can see already. The Star Citizen systems, right, they are nowhere near as shallow as those in Starfield. There's so much to do already with one system, and it's... Not all systems are going to be like that, right? Nyx is probably not going to be like that. It's just going to be Levski, and that's going to be it, and that's okay. But at the same time, if we can have like I would say a good selection of really meaningful system with a lot of content inside, plus some side systems that would be more for transit maybe or mining resources, then that would be okay.
The game wants more star systems, but not 100. So the question that is, how many to start? I'm presuming that the planetary team hasn't simply been sitting idle while server meshing was being worked on and has a fair supply of assets on the shelf. So obviously we start small and then grow, which is also the story of our sponsor, Southern New Hampshire University. What? Be a lot of new players. Where will they start? They will start with this drop-down list to pick their home system.
Yes.
And the drop-down list will be their very first impression of the scope of the verse.
Can you imagine once we are going to have so many systems all together? This is going to be crazy. This is going to be crazy. Once we are going to have so many systems, it's going to be a huge list down there.
And the very first impressions are so important. So how many items should be in that very first choice that a new player will have to make about their home star system?
Take a week just
the answer is actually well understood by psychologists and game designers. The answer is 3.
Then shalt thou
3?
count to 3. No more, no less.
A choice of 1 seems pointless, and a choice of 2 seems limited.
Neither count thou 2, excepting that thou then proceed to 3.
And choices of 4 or more begin to seem overwhelming
4 shalt thou not count.
to someone without a lot of experience to go on.
Oh, come on. No, 3 systems at launch, Ray. Oh, that's really not a lot.
5 is right out.
Now, an early stretch goal included backers having an extra choice of starting location, and that's fine because for early backers, this won't be their first exposure to the verse.
Oh, okay, I see what he means. He means for new players.
But for those entering the verse for the very first time, what are the 3 choices that they should have?
3 shall be the number thou shalt count, and the number of the counting shall be 3.
Yeah, I think that for the first starting 3 systems for new players, there should be Terra, Stanton, and if they really want to go hardcore, Pyro.
And let me say right up front that Pyro, or any system like it, should not be on the list.
Should not be. I disagree. I disagree. You know, there are players who are going to want to have the toughest system first.
Taking a completely inexperienced player in an Aurora and putting them in Pyro is almost certainly going to be a disaster. And anybody
Yes, but there are people who are looking for that.
insisting that new players be able to start in Pyro is likely just being a predator looking for easy victims.
Oh, no. No, come on. There are people who are going to be helping there as well, just like in Stanton.
So, Stanton, of course, is in the list of 3, but what should be the other 2?
Terra.
One clear choice is Terra, as is the political center of the UEE. And in my opinion, the third slot should be Ellis.
Alice. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We already have Alice in Arena Commander.
It's an interesting system with a wide variety of planets and some very beautiful ones. It is the center of the Murray Cup racing, so that is a unique factor. Its habitable planets are full of nature and resorts and casinos and other entertainment ventures. So
Yeah, and we can also go there from Magnus to Stanton. Yeah. That would actually make sense. And probably, I believe, yeah, Magnus is where, by the way, I forgot to say, but Magnus is where the headquarters of Drake Interplanetary is going to be. It's going to be an easy system to make as well. If we have Ellis, Magnus, Stanton, Terra, Pyro, and where is Nyx? Yeah, and Nyx all together, I think that could be a really good start.
it rounds out a trio of a business nexus, a political nexus, and a popular entertainment and leisure nexus. So in terms of the USA, it would be like having New York, Washington, D.C., and Los Angeles as the 3 starting choices. So with those in place, it becomes a game of connect the dots. And not just that, but connect them in interesting ways. Stanton, of course, is directly connected to Terra, and Terra connects to both Pyro and Stanton, so that's our first triangle route. The next obvious choice is the Magnus system.
Ah, there we go. Yes.
Magnus connects to both Terra and Stanton and connects to Ellis. So just with Magnus, we have another triangle route and have all of our starter systems connected to each
Plus Magnus, low security. It's not as wide as Pyro, but it's still low sec. And again, I'm a Drake guy. You're going to see later, I'm flying a Drake Corsair today. So, of course, I'll be interested to visiting there and doing some shopping.
Magnus is also an interesting system. It reminds me in some ways of Pyro, a system that has seen better days, but rather than from a natural catastrophic event, a political catastrophic event. The UEE pulling out its major shipyards from it, and thus it becoming the headquarters of Drake Interplanetary.
There we go. Oh, thank you so much. Don't stop your store. Hello.
But there are other systems that CIG have hinted that they are in development work on.
Nyx
is...
There we go. Hello. I like... Ray and I were thinking the same.
Levski, which CIG did have temporarily located in Stanton, and CIG has said they've done work on having Levski reworked to current standards.
Yes, yeah. Oh, I cannot wait to see Levski with current standards, new hangars, maybe some outdoors racing, outside of the facility, which will be fantastic.
Nyx connects to Pyro, and so that fits with a starting mesh of planets. We also know that Odin is the setting of Squadron 42. So substantial work must have already been done on it.
I would not imagine Odin not being in the release version of Star Citizen.
Odin connects to Nyx. So this would mean 3 starting mostly safe systems, Stanton, Terra, and Ellis, and 3 more challenging systems for advanced players, Pyro, Magnus, and Odin, with players who have pledged during development to have the choices of all 6, but everyone else only having the genuine starter systems.
Now, I really wonder how CIG could be doing that, based on experience, right? The sleeper system you want that no one else is talking about is Magnus. Yeah, we did talk about Magnus, Dons. And I often talk about Magnus in my videos as well. Of course, I mean, it's Drake's headquarters, right? Plus the planet, I think it's Magnus 2, where it's located. It's kind of like a rural farming type of planet. So I think if you want to have your own homestead there as well, while at the same time being low security and maybe having a sense of risk, is going to be a really interesting place.
Those 6 I would regard as the absolute minimum for a 1.0 release.
Yes, I agree with
more following on a regular basis, as in more than 1 per year. What would be
more than 1 per year? Yeah, of course, right? If we have only 1 per year, it would take like 100 years to finish Star Citizen.
Some of my favorite early ones, Looking at those with multiple connections of the first 6, I would look at the Hadrian as the first interspecies trade hub, Tyrannus with its particularly dense asteroid belts, and Castra as a militarized trade hub. Frankly, there are a lot of good systems in lore to choose from, but equally important is not to choose ones that gets the explorable verse strung out in a single line. That's boring. Always look to be creating explorable loops. Finally, an update on our Grow the Channel.
There we go. All right, really interesting
video.
video here from Ray, and I agree with what the most that was said here. Of course, yeah, nice little hub here. Ellis, I was not thinking about Ellis, but it definitely makes sense. Back to Star Citizen.